Today is a warmer day. It has been quite cold throughout January, but February really warmed up quite a bit. It was nice. So it's funny that during January I was doing a lot of these cold water plunges until my tub froze to the bottom and I wasn't able to plunge anymore. So I did snow baths and things like that, um, and a few river swims. So, in February, here I've been doing something a little bit different. I shifted gears towards entrepreneurial practices, and I have been doing a lot of new videos here on YouTube, and begun advertising this site, and it's really starting to fly, and that's exciting. If you want to help me with that transition, I was recently teaching mathematics, and now I am doing my best to teach about yoga and meditation, something that has really changed my life. I've spent 2 years before I was teaching doing full time meditation. I was meditating 40 hours a week and writing part time. Now I'm looking to publish some of the stuff that I was writing and also transitioning. I'm meditating probably 25 hours a week and working full time. Uh, but I am trying to transition now to some kind of balance, maybe like 30 hours of entrepreneurial work and 30 hours of meditation. If you want to help me with that transition, I would very much appreciate that. You can donate on my mariocaputo.org site, where there's also music for sale and quite a bit of books that are coming back into the queue. Um, so thank you for your interest. And it's an interesting site. It's an exciting site to spend some time on. You can see my letters of recommendation from my spiritual director. I'm also doing spiritual direction work for those that are interested, and life coaching. There's also some chapters from my books and a number of recordings and so on. So that's what's new for me in February. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about that transition towards spending more time on the meditation seat, and also how I can share what those insights that have come through years of intensive practice. Then I also want to talk briefly about a king who was also a yogi, in a way that reminds us that we can have an ordinary, happy, successful life in the world, whatever we're doing, whether we're entrepreneurs or we're working as teachers or we're working as lawyers or writers or whatever, judges. But in the meantime, or anything, in the meantime, we have this capacity to really begin to plug into our true self and allow that higher thought process to begin to really recondition our brain cells, our way of relating to each other, our way of relating to ourself. This uh, I'm celebrating today through this power of meditation with my simple, in a very simple way, with this floral print and with some flowers. I really am excited at the prospects of seeing Easter come in and celebrating, as the yogis do, not only the resurrection of Christ, but the resurrection of Christ within our own body, mind, soul, and spirit. So, this empowerment that comes through, let us say, creatively seeking the highest solutions in our own life. Obviously, we have to have enough money to pay our bills. We have to have some kind of meaningful relationships to stay strong and healthy. But we also need to have some kind of relationship with our soul, with our inmost being, with that Mahatma that's in all of us, with that Mahashaya that's in all of us, that great mind that's in all of us, just waiting to be nurtured into being, nurtured into functionality. Towards this end, we have a few very effective and very powerful meditation techniques that have been evolved by the yogis over thousands and thousands of years. If we look at, for example, the writings from the Upanishads, from the Gita, and so on, those are multiple thousands of years old, and they remind us of the same thing over and over again, that we are soul, and that soul is capable of returning to spirit even in this lifetime, even in this moment. So as we dive very deep through a very effective techniques such as Kriya Yoga or allied techniques, and I've been practicing nearly 30 years in that capacity. I started inquiring into it after I read the autobiography of a yogi when I was still in high school. Now, as we begin to look at this power that comes to us to really seize the day, to take this moment and take every thought captive, as St. Paul put it, then we're able to really sink our teeth into the uh, the bliss, the food, the bread of the angels, as some saints have called it, that nurtures us and enlivens us and allows us to recognize that we have the same potential that these perfected master meditators have. It's just a question of diving deep daily through a disciplined practice. So the discipline is essential, but so is the motivation that comes, the reminder that we have within us a spark that is fully divine. So in that capacity, I wanted to spend a little bit of time here reading from one of the chapters here about it's something I've read before, if I can find it. It is a vision that Yogananda has of Jesus Christ in the flesh. So here is a yogi who had the very highest kind of samadhi and also some of these very sweet and intimate periods of time in the presence of Lord Jesus, Lord Krishna, his own guru, after his guru Sri Yukteswar left the body, appeared to him in the flesh. So perhaps this seems impossible, but why should we imagine that with the science of the day that tells us that an atom can be in two places at the same time, that the way that we think about an atom affects its functionality. The quantum mechanical model certainly describes a universe in which miracles are very real, are very within the scientific realm. So, the time-tested scriptures of the world are one in essence, inspiring man on his upward journey. One of the happiest periods of my life was spent in dictating for Self-Realization magazine my interpretation of part of the New Testament. Fervently I implored Christ to guide me in divining the true meaning of his words, many of which have been grievously misunderstood for 20 centuries. One night, while I was engaged in silent prayer, my sitting room in the Encinitas Hermitage was filled with an opal blue light. I beheld the radiant form of the blessed Lord Jesus. A young man, he seemed of about 25, with a sparse beard and mustache. His long black hair, parted in the middle, was haloed by a shimmering gold. His eyes were eternally wondrous. As I gazed, they were intimately changing. With each divine transition in their expression, I intuitively understood the wisdom conveyed. In his glorious gaze, I felt the power that upholds the myriad worlds. A holy grail appeared at his mouth. It came down to my lips and then returned to Jesus. After a few moments, he uttered beautiful words, so personal in their nature that I keep them in my heart. So here a yogi encountering the yogi Christ, and also there have been many, many such yogis who have been able to be in contact with those who have gone before on the most intimate level. King Janaka, as we mentioned earlier, was one such saint, one such master, and he was not only running a business, not only running the business of a kingdom, but he was taking time every night to go very deep in his meditations. If they can do it, you know, you can do it, I can do it. Let's go for the gold. Let's make no excuses and take every thought captive.